Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of RM Cookbook, and today I'm going to share with you a recipe called koofteh Tabrizi. It's essentially stuffed meatball. So let me just show you what you need to prepare this recipe. Here you can see we're sauteing a large onion chopped into little pieces, so let it saute, and in the meantime I'll show you the other ingredients. Here we are actually using 452 grams of mincemeat. These are all the dried ingredients which we will be using with the mincemeat to prepare our meatballs. Here you can see we have some dried prunes, some walnuts, 1.5 cup of leftover rice from day before. We'll show you if you want to see how we prepare this rice, the link is at the top, and some grated onion, and these are the dried herbs. The herbs we are using is a tablespoon of savory, 2 tablespoons of dried coriander, 1 tablespoon of tarragon, and 1 tablespoon of dried leek. I will also write it down on the description below so you can see that. As the onion sorted and became brown, we added some salt and pepper, some turmeric powder, and to that we've also added 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. Fry it in the whole same pot and just add in some water, and add in enough water which should be enough to submerge the meatball as we have prepared later on. Let it cook for time being, and let us just prepare the meatball. So to prepare the meatball, we'll be using our food processor. We have added all the dried ingredient, including the meat, which the ground beef which we are using, added all the dried herbs, and we are going to add some salt and pepper. Vary the amount of salt and pepper to your taste essentially, and just mix the whole thing till it becomes into the consistency of a dough type of mixture. So it should be such that it should be not too sticky, yet it should have enough stickiness to it so that it actually stays together, because the worst thing can happen is you cook your meatball into the pot and it breaks. So this is basically how the consistency should be. As you touch it, it should come off from your finger without getting stuck, and it should be free. Now take it off the food processor, make it into 3 equal size ball over here, and just roll it around to make it a round shape, and then make a hole in the middle, or a bit of cavity, and in that cavity just put in a prune, dried prune, a walnut, and cover the walnut with a bit of another dried prune. But again, cover the whole thing up and roll it till you make another this round shaped meatball is prepared. But make sure you tap it very tight so that any kind of trapped air comes out, because if there is a trapped air, it will actually crack your meatball when you're cooking it. So as you can see, hands were completely free, nothing was sticking, and that's how you prepared your 3 meatball. Now the sauce is getting ready, or the gravy is getting ready. We have just added a pinch of bicarbonate of soda, because tomato puree is essentially quite acidic, and we need to neutralize this acid by adding a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, and that essentially prevents people getting heartburn by eating this sauce. So in order to neutralize that, we had to add a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, and that's basically a trick if you wanted to prepare some kind of sauce or gravy which tends to give people some heartburn. You can neutralize it. Now we need to cook the meatball for an hour, and every 10 minutes we need to pour in some sauce on top of it, and this is how you cook the whole meatball. But don't disturb it. If you disturb it, it might crack. So in order to avoid that, we just basically cooked it for a low flame for an hour, and every 10 minutes we pour in the sauce on top of it so that the meatball remains moist and it soaks in all the goodness and the flavor from the gravy which we have prepared. Then in order to present it, take the meatball from the pot, pour in some sauce into or the gravy into the pot, and just present it this way. Or you can also garnish it with a little bit of chopped coriander if you have in your house, and that also gives some added flavor and looks also very nice. And this could go on its own by itself, because it's a dish on its own, because we have also added some rice and ground beef into it. Or the gravy itself, you can actually have it with some flat breads, which is basically the Iranian flat breads, which is noon lavash or noon sangak, which you can have. If you don't have that, you can also have any kind of bread if you have, and with the gravy, it's very delicious with the bread. Now you can see the inside of it. My wife is just cutting into it, and once you actually cut it open, you can see the prune is on that, and walnut is there, and also just pour in a little bit of extra sauce on top of it, and that gives the taste. Actually, essentially the taste is from the gravy or the sauce which you have prepared, and then just cut it and just enjoy this dish. I forgot to tell you previously, the reason is called koofteh Tabrizi because Tabriz is a part of Iran which is in the northwestern part of Iran, and this dish is quite famous in the regions of Tabriz and Azerbaijan, which is essentially Central Asian region. So hope you like this recipe. If you did, give us a like, and all of you who has newly joined to our channel, thank you very much for joining and welcome. And also to all the viewers who are actually watching this recipe, thank you for taking the time to watch this recipe. So till the next time, take care.